right. All right, all right, all right. Here we go. Here we go. It's your saltwater guide with another great seminar for you on Wednesday. It is Wednesday, gang. That means we got a great game plan coming out for you tomorrow. So stay tuned for the great game plan over on our website at yoursaltwaterguide.com. If you're not a member, I don't know why, but good luck figuring it out on your own out there. Have fun with that. Fuel's free now, so I'm sure y'all got plenty of extra money to figure out this fishing thing on your own. Let's go over a couple of pieces of business real quick, and then we'll get started on the seminar today, and it's about bluefin tuna today. So first of all, gang, we still got 14 days left to have an opportunity to win that free trip on the Helena out of Dana Wharf Sport Fishing. We're going to be giving that away on the end of this month and the end of August. We're going to give away that trip on the Helena. That's a free 3/4 day trip for up to 10 of you and 10 of your friends to go on the Helena out of Dana Wharf Sport Fishing with Calvin Cooper. How do you win that? Well, you go over to my store, Your Saltwater Guides, the store. Kelly's going to put a link up on Insta and on Facebook. You go over to the store, you simply buy some products, some swag at the store, buy a shirt, buy a hat, buy a sweatshirt, buy something over there on the store, and then we'll accumulate all the names of all the people that bought, and we'll figure out one lucky person's going to win that trip on the Helena out of Dana Wharf Sport Fishing with Calvin Cooper, and we'll let you know who that is. Remember, Augie won the trip with Justin on Bowline Sport Fishing. Justin Botrell and his family were nice enough to donate a trip, and we gave that away last month on July 31st, and Augie and his family won a 6-pack charter, 3/4 day free trip. We're always giving away cool stuff, Your Saltwater Guide. Every month we're giving away something really cool. So don't miss out. It's real simple. You want one of my shirts anyway, or you want a hat. I know that. And you definitely want one of those bitchin' coffee cups that have all the great Captain Dave sayings on them. So go over there and get something at my store, and that'll get you entered into the drawing. And then today is Akuma Wednesday. We always talk about Akuma or Fish Lab products on Wednesday. Guys, go look at my video on how we catch the bluefin. We don't take the rod out of the rod holder, and you'll look at the Makaira 130, and you'll see what I'm talking about. That's the largest production reel that they make. And as you'll learn, as we talk about this bluefin thing today on the show, you'll learn how much I hate them and how much I believe they all should die, and how I don't understand how you should fight them in the rod holder. That's why we use the 130, or you should take the rod out of the rod holder. That's why we use the 130 and we just winch them in. So here we go. We're talking about bluefin tuna. And like I told you on the show yesterday, and this is what I believe, I know the bluefin have been biting for a long time in Southern California. I know the last couple of weeks has been very, very good, and a lot of bigger fish have moved into the mix again. And there's a lot of bigger fish in a couple of areas. And if you want to know where those areas are, all you got to do is go over to my website, yoursaltwaterguide.com, sign up, purchase the bundles for the game plans, and you'll know exactly where the fish are. And if you just follow the simple plan, gang, it's not that hard. I have clients call me all the time and go, "Thank you, Dave. That was awesome. We went out there, we followed your plan, and we filled the boat up with fish. How come everybody else isn't following the plan?" I think it's an ego thing, really. I think there's just so much ego out there driving around that people want to try to figure this thing out on their own. And, now that fuel is free, I understand. I'd be out there driving around too with the free fuel that they're giving at the fuel docks, figuring it out on my own. That sounds like awesome. Oh, wait a minute. The fuel's not free. It's $8 a gallon. Okay. Or $7. Some of you are getting it for $6.25. But what a deal. Perfect. Make sure you vote for those people again. All right. So those of you that aren't getting the free fuel, maybe you want to be members of a website that's going to tell you exactly where to go. But we're going to talk about this bluefin thing right now and how I believe that there's going to be a phenomenal amount of bigger fish caught this weekend because we're coming out of the moon cycle that we were just in, which those fish had a tendency to feed more at night or late in the afternoon. Now I believe Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you're going to see more of that midday action, more of that from 10 o'clock to 2 in the afternoon, midday action stuff that we love, because we don't have to stay out all day. We don't have to get up super early. The midday stuff that worked for years. I think that's going to be the key. And I really believe that dragging that Mad Max around at 12 knots, that's great for the free fuel. Those of you that are getting your fuel for free, that's awesome. But those of you that are paying for the fuel, that is the worst fuel efficiency you could possibly drive your boat at. 12 knots, you're burning the most fuel you could possibly burn. So we're going to talk about what I think is going to work really, really well this weekend. If you're in the right zones and you're in the right spots, this is what I think is going to work. We're going to go back to the basics, back to what it still works. Guys have been catching them on them all year, but so many people got locked up on the Mad Max thing and all that. I think you can go back to the rubber flying fish this weekend. I think you can go back to that yummy flying. And I think you can go back to fishing the live or the dead flyers underneath the kite. I believe that's going to be where that big fish is going to be caught this weekend, because of the fact that the fish have come off of this nighttime cycle with the full moon. And now they're going to be feeding on this midday thing. And there's so much big fish in the two areas that I'm going to talk about on the game plans this weekend. I don't know. If you go to Spectrum in Anaheim, they have no problem with helium. If you're having a helium problem, that's because you're looking in the wrong places. Spectrum Gas in Anaheim's got no problem with helium. So I've heard this helium shortage for a long, long time, but I never had a problem finding helium. And those of us that fish for a living, we don't have a problem finding helium. If you're having a problem finding helium, that's probably because you're having a problem. It's not because there's a shortage of helium. Somebody just said that over on Insta. I'm just trying to answer them. Go to Spectra Gas in Anaheim, right by the Anaheim Stadium. They got plenty of helium. All right. So back to what we were talking about. So this weekend, that kite, the helium, the rubber flying fish, and the dead flyers that you all been holding on to and saving, or you haven't got them yet, you're going to go over to a tackle store and get some for this weekend. You're going to go get your helium. You're going to go get all your stuff. This is what you've been waiting for, gang. There's going to be some phenomenal fish caught this weekend with that operation. If you don't know how to do any of that, you can go sign up at my website. We give you exactly how to do the whole kite thing, everything. We break it down super simple. But what I like to do and what my clients like to do and what we've been doing for years is we use that 130 with 200-pound braid, and we battle the fish in the rod holder. It works flawless. Now, I know a lot of you think, well, I want to hold the pole, and it makes me a bigger human. It makes me a better human that I had contact with the fish and I fought him with the rod in a rod holder. And gang, give me a break. Nobody cares. When you're telling that story, when you're at the bar, or you're at your kid's bar mitzvah, or you're at the soccer field telling the story, really, to be perfectly honest, no one's really listening. They want to see the picture of you holding it up by the tail, and then they don't care about it anymore after that. They're on to the next bright and shiny object. I personally was absent that day when the teacher told us that the fish are supposed to hurt us. I believe that I'm the dominant animal out there on the water. I don't believe that fish are supposed to hurt us. I like to catch those bluefin with a 65-foot boat with twin diesel engines, cranking about 12 to 1,500 horsepower out of each engine. That's how I like to catch them, with the rod in the rod holder, bumping the boat in and out of gear, winding in the slack, driving the boat forward, take it out of gear, wind in the slack, kick it back into gear, pull that fish and keep them coming towards the boat the whole time. If you have a burning desire to hold the fishing pole and pump and wind, really? Woo! I fought the fish. I fought him the whole time. Oh, yay! You're awesome. You're hilarious. Now you're at work and your back's killing you and your thighs hurt and you can't believe all the pain in your arm and your forearm. Are you kidding me? We tag team these things. Rod and the rod holder. Watch all my videos. You turn the handle till you can't turn the handle anymore, and the next guy jumps in. And don't leave your stupid because I don't really care. Guys, I've been doing this for my whole life. I don't really care. I don't want to hear the story about how you held the rod and you pumped and you wound and you pumped and you wound. And then you wound him into the boat. And oh my goodness, it was so exciting. And it took 3.5 hours. Hey, the biggest fish we caught during this cycle was 304 pounds. And we caught that one in 17 minutes because that's how long it took to wind in all the line when we were trolling behind the kite. So that's what's going on. I think that you're missing out. I think you need to understand more about what's it's all about. It's about holding that fish up, getting your picture taken, holding it up by the tail. This is what I teach all my guys. And my guys, my clients, my 3,700 members of my website, they all call me up and go, gosh, Dave, that was so easy to catch that fish. Kicking the boat in and out of gear, winding in the slack, pointing the boat down swell so that everybody on the boat isn't getting the crap beat out of them, and never allowing the fish to get into that pinwheel where he's spinning around and you get him up a little bit and then he goes back down and he comes around the corner and then he goes back down. I'm not talking the sport boat. I'm talking you on your private boat where you get 1 300-pounder. It's a phenomenal day. Also, something that you need to understand is when these fish bite, when they're in the bite mode and they're actually biting and you're catching them, that bite time is so small. That bite time is so small that if you can get them quick with the boat and winding that line on a 130 with 200-pound braid and 40 pounds of drag, and you can crank that fish into the boat, you can get more. You can get way more, way faster that way than you can 3 guys standing up. Or none of you are even standing up anymore. You're laying on the railing with the rod on the rail, and you're using it like a fulcrum. So give me a break. You're doing that already. So just leave the damn rod in the rod holder and let the boat kill them, for God's sakes. Guys, don't try to tell me, oh, well, I like the whole. You are using the boat as a fulcrum. You're on the edge of the rail and you're teeter-tottering your rod up and down. You're not holding it. So shut up. For God's sakes, use the boat. Do it the easy way. I'm all about getting as many on the boat as I can and getting as many pictures as I can of people holding them up by the tail. I watch a lot of these guys doing it now. We've been doing it that way for 7 years. That's how we've been doing it. Now, a lot of people are catching on and finding out that you could throw a lot more of these fish on the boat a lot faster by doing it that way. And how is it? Well, you get bit on the rubber flying fish or on the dead fly or however you're doing it. Once that rod goes tight, now it's time to kick the boat down swell and start walking the fish and the boat down swell. And as long as you keep the boat in and out of gear, and I don't mean driving at 10 knots in gear, I mean kicking it into gear, dragging the fish along at 1.5 knots or 2 knots and pulling it out of gear, and the fish is still going to go forward. And then you wind in the slack, and then when he starts to get his head back down again, you simply kick the boat forward, it brings his head back up, you stop, he glides along, you wind in a little bit more line. It works flawless. I have a video on my website that shows you exactly how to do it. And if you follow the simple instructions, it works very, very well. I know you like to hold the pole. Good for you. Congratulations. That's awesome. I just like to kill them because I hate bluefin. I think they all suck. I've been chasing those stupid bluefin for 40 years. And you guys, I've been reading your comments and listening to you talk on the shows and everything else. And you all hate them too. You burned a phenomenal amount of fuel. And now when you finally get a bite, you want to hold. No, you want to kill it. You don't want to hold the pole and passionately wind them in and do all that. You want to kill that fish as quickly as you possibly can so you can do what? Get another one. So check out my video series on how to fight these bluefin using the boat. It works phenomenal. When you start to mark an area where you're seeing a lot of fish on the fish finder, but you're not seeing them up on the surface, understand those fish are going to come to the surface. So you don't want to leave that area. When you find an area with some bluefin in it, And if you follow our game plan, you'll find those areas. I promise you. It's not that hard, but a lot of people's ego won't let them follow the simple game plan. But when you find the fish on your fish finding apparatus, your photometer, don't leave that area to go look for some more fish. Stay in that area and wait for those fish to float. And once they get above, you'll probably start marking them at 150 or 200 feet down. Once they get to that 100-foot level on your photometer, that's when you deploy the kite with the dead flying fish on it. When you're marking them at the 250, 200 foot, that's when you're going to troll that rubber flying fish back and forth across those numbers where you mark those fish. They're not leaving that area. They found some cool water that they like to be in, and they're going to stay in that water, or they found some warmer water that they like to be in. Regardless of what kind of water it is, they're going to stay in that zone. You don't want to leave fish to go look for fish. When we start seeing them up above 100 feet and they're not biting the rubber, we're going to shut the boat down, and we're going to deploy that live or dead flying fish out there under the kite with the wings pinned out. And we're going to deploy that out there, and whammo, we're going to get bit. People think, oh, I'm marking him at 100 feet. Should we put a sinker on and go down? Gang, that 300-pound bluefin kicks his tail once. He's gone 100 feet. He's coming right. His whole life depends on him finding something to eat. He's swimming around down there 100 feet down, looking up the whole time. He sees your flying fish on the surface. He's going to flick his tail and be up there on the surface in a split second, eating your flying fish. Gang, follow the simple rules, simple instructions, rules, whatever. Follow the game plan. Follow the simple instructions. And you, too, will be successful this weekend. And you'll have plenty of pictures of you holding up big bluefin by their tail. Because like I said, at the end of the day, no one wants to hear your story. They just want to see the picture and move on to the next bright and shiny object. All right? That's our game plan. That's our show for today. If I hurt your feelings, I don't care. Call my HR department, and I will answer the phone, and we will talk about how I hurt your feelings today. All right, gang. Keep watching me. I'll keep making the videos. You keep watching them. We only had 1.7 million views yesterday, so we're doing something right. And it couldn't do any of it without all of you. If you don't want to see me anymore, quit watching. I'll quit making the videos, I promise. All right. Thanks. Adios. Have a great day. Talk to you all tomorrow. Ops and Fluorocarbon Thursday tomorrow. Bye.